Odell Beckham during pregame warm-ups, Stugotz. Last week, he came out of the tunnel as Ray Lewis, or did the Ray Lewis dance during introductions. This week before the game, he was wearing a shirt of Colorado Heisman candidate Travis Hunter, who was on the wrong end of a dirty hit during that Colorado State game. In that game, because we're changing the parameters on how all of this is done, Colorado State had a kicker who was a 31-year-old with 3 kids. I can't tell you how much I love that for college sports. It was a British guy imported to do the kicks for Colorado State.
Right.
3 kids, 31 years old, because why not? Somewhere between Europe and Germany and however it is that we were playing all these minor league football, professional leagues before. Now the guys will just come here and we'll say, okay, it's here for an education. And he's 31 years old. He's doing the kicking at the end of the game for Colorado State.
Still younger than Sam Hartman.
It is professional football, but Travis Hunter now has a liver laceration and will miss the next couple of games, the biggest that Colorado will play against the best opponents that they will see.
Deion said he's out for 2 to 4 weeks. So, and you're right.
On a cheap shot after a lot of talk before the game, a lot of like the game. Stugotz, what's going to happen here? Just if you're unaware. Many years ago, the University of Miami was viewed as the outlaw renegade program that caused people in America to have a whole lot of problems with how their college football was being played.
100%.
When the Vikings are apologizing because their fan base can't not be racist to their players when the Vikings lose. And when the Texas players are on the sideline and Alabama fans are hitting them with the most racist, what do you think this team's going to get as it starts playing football? That was a dirty game by both sides because it got elevated. Man, that's part of why coaches don't get these things elevated to there, because back when football was out of control with Miami, they had to make new rules because their coach, Jimmy Johnson, personified whatever it is, was the adult, mature, white establishment of I'm going to let my players bleep and play, and it's going to bother you, and you're going to question every week whether I'm trampling sportsmanship every week because some of the criticism of this team is about to get coded because they're loud, they're flashy, but it's also why it's the phenomenon that it is right now.
Right. Well, I think it's loud, flashy, combined with people who are like, hey, you haven't done anything yet. All you did was go beat TCU on the road. It's a combination of that, Dan.
The expectations were 0.
I know. He's exceeded them already. He's won already.
But don't say they haven't done anything when they've done everything that they can so far through 3 games.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you act like that, people are going to say, hey, do something first. You haven't done anything.
Stugotz, the criticism will be before, during, after. There will be ways to find. This will not be Alabama. It'll not be your grandfather's program. It'll not be your dad's program.
Yes.
Every week there will be somebody out there who could feel righteously outraged by something that this group is going to do.
Right.
And it's why and how you know they matter. It's why and how I'm telling you it doesn't matter if they lose to USC and Oregon. They are event television, polarizing, made for television drama every week, even if we have to invent it, and we will. We'll invent it because of how flashy this team is and what it's brought with it. Stugotz, I'm used to Snoop Dogg after USC wins titles showing up as one rapper, not Lil Wayne bringing them out of the tunnel.
But you say it doesn't matter whether or not they win or lose. It's why I'm upset that Travis Hunter is out. I wanted to see Colorado full strength against Oregon, against
They're
USC.
Not strong enough up front yet.
But the winning does matter, Dan. The 2 teams you're talking about, USC with the Rappers and University of Miami, those teams won, and they won big. They won multiple national championships.
But Stugotz, if attention is the currency of the day,
right,
and we're just now doing this, money wins, attention wins. Why is there a need to see something through 3 games that has been as perfect as it could possibly be to take over college football? You can question it. Yes, it's just been TCU. But so far, what this program has done through 3 games is the maximum max out on making money. Stugotz, listen to what I'm telling you here. Saturday night in Boulder, Colorado was the most expensive ticket in the sport.
Yep.
More than $500 a ticket, more than Ohio State. That's bananas. If you're going to make it all business, then celebrate when a guy conquers the business, which is what he's done through 3 games. Yeah, they'll probably lose the next 2 because his lines are too small. But give him time, because if he's already exceeded the expectation, what does the next evolution of this look like?
But do you think Deion's not getting celebrated?
Right. What's going, like, all I'm saying is I want the celebration to continue, and I'm not certain it will if they start losing football games.
I think there's a
That's
few.
it.
It won't.
There are trolls
Right.
out there, like the Danny Cannells of the world, but I just think for the most part,
It's
being
largely being celebrated. I mean, every show
And
and
it should
network
be,
is
right.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's generational. I think that you will see a backlash to
Well,
the
60
things.
Minutes was there, Dan, so.
Right. It's weird.
You don't believe. Okay, so I'm inventing Deion is polarizing?
No, you're not inventing
No,
it. I'm
not
just
at
saying
all.
You're making it seem like everybody hates him and is rooting against him. I think it's largely being celebrated in the sport.
So what do you think? How do you think it breaks down? Because I'm with you. I believe that this is something that should be celebrated, but I've watched his career never be as celebrated for his excellence. Never as it should be, because you can love how amazing he is and also hate how amazing he is.
Yeah, but I mean, now he's being celebrated.
He's definitely being celebrated. I would say most of the stuff I see online is very pro Deion. I see your point in the sense of he's being celebrated. Maybe Colorado isn't being celebrated as much, but Deion for sure is.
And he deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I mean, Dan, to your point earlier, it took him 2 weeks to get both pregame shows out to Colorado for a bad game. I mean, that's Colorado State.
I mean, there's a comment, or there has to be like a middle ground too, right? Like he can be celebrated and also not be the greatest team in college football at the same time. And you can question, is this sustainable? Are they going to lose to these teams? Should you rush the field if you're favored by things like that, and also not be like, you're a hater, you're hating on me?
I would be predisposed here to my biases of what it is that I have seen happen around this person and what I thought I saw happening at halftime on social media of that game, where it looked like a comeuppance was coming for Deion. And what I saw, because it's easy to say now everyone is celebrating this, because agreed, everyone seems like they're celebrating this.
Well, there's nothing to do but celebrate it right now. If you're asking me, are there people waiting in the weeds to go after Deion after they lose? Of course. They're sitting there waiting.
But so it's quiet is all I'm saying. When it gets to 3-2, because you haven't continued to exceed expectations beyond anything reasonable, you're telling me that's not here yet. I'm telling you I saw it ready to pounce at halftime of that game.
I do think there is also an element, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, of course, like everyone loves Deion. Of course not. Like we live in this country where people are very racist and they like to root against black people. I am not denying that. I think I'm also seeing an element of like, they shouldn't be getting this much attention, which college football fans love to do. They love to be like, this team's overrated, just wait until this, and my team is better and I should be getting more attention than this like 3-0 Colorado team that hasn't beaten anybody yet. It's like the haven't played anyone yet discourse, but it's combined with, I think, a lot of people that are inclined to be haters against Deion and are giving him less credit because of the way that he has, like, you know, he hasn't done things the right way in Colorado, and like that sort of discourse, and it's now just very messy. But I don't know. It is just a constant cycle of Colorado discourse.
It's an Oregon fan base who's saying, hey, we deserve the credit. We deserve all the attention. Why are you giving it to Deion? Hey, we're good too, and we've been good for a while.
Yeah, it's jealousy of
Yes.
something that has come in and hasn't earned it the way football people are supposed to earn their attentions, and something will become the news of the cycle in the next couple of weeks.
It's also fun to root for them, though, because they're new. You know what I mean? Like Oregon, you can root for like 10 years and they have all the crazy uniforms. And it's like, okay, well, I want something new. That's why TCU gets popular sometimes. Boise State had a run. Like, you're always kind of looking for like this up and coming fun thing. And right now, Colorado's that fun thing.
This is fun. I mean, it's a father, it's a son. It's really cool.
Well, this is what I would say to you, Stugotz, and I feel it breathing on my neck all the time when we do this show. We are already about 7 segments past annoying our audience on the Deion talk. Maybe 8. And I'm not just talking about today. I'm talking about for weeks now.
Right.
And the backlash.
So I'm trying to tell you with 60 Minutes.
The backlash will be very strong because I will continue to be fascinated by what happens in 2023 America when the sports symbols and the revolutions for where race makes an appearance in sports makes people super uncomfortable. Because sports, and this sport, has changed so dramatically and has unmasked what a greedy, stupid enterprise all of this is. And it keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And someone who arrives, who had it the hardest, Stugotz, to climb through from his level of excellence and fame to get his opportunity, how uncomfortable that's going to make today's America is part of why it's primetime viewing. It's part of why, yes, and there will always be a recoil to anything that's popular that we're talking about too much. There will be 30%, 40%, 70% of the audience that is like, stop talking about that. You're making me hate Deion Sanders. But I can't be more fascinated by what's happening, shaking at the core of the business of football. Because it's not supposed to be that one independent comes in here and shakes the world like this. It's weird to see Michael Irvin roaring with laughter in his 50s because his buddy from 30 years ago with the Cowboys is trying to change college football.
It makes me want UM to hire Michael Irvin. I mean, I'm serious.
Let's turn it all into that. Let's please run all the Met rules out of here. Just make it a giant, messy enterprise.
They let Scott Frost coach there, so that didn't work out very well.
Please. Just put a bunch of personalities.
Who coaches Iowa? I mean,
I don't even know.
Chuck Long?
Jay Norvell went to Iowa.
What do you want? More Deion or more Ferences? More Sanderses or more Ferences?
I need less Ferences in my life.
We all do. We all do. Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do we need fewer Ferences in our life?
Except Notre Dame. They got the guy. That guy is cool. Oh, my God. That guy.
So pretty, too.
He's unbelievable. They're going to lose Ohio State.
He does look the part.
Oh, he looks great.
He is. He's beautiful. Strapping.
We'll look great doing it.
Stugotz's weekend observations are coming up here in a little bit. And in my head, Stugotz, I am writhing with jealousy because I want my own sort of weekend observations where I casually come over.
You can have them.
Where I can just casually come over and just no expectations of the analysis being any good, but just come over and say, Chris Jones makes a difference, huh? Like just come over with
yours would be about flooding and famine
and football.
I have a sounder for you.
I'd have plenty of football for you as well. I'd give you, it'd be like that. It'd be like, yes.
That is the show that you should do on Mondays: flooding, famine, and football.
All right, I'm gonna do that with McKay. I'm gonna go to Hollywood and do it with McKay. Flooding, famine, and football.
McKay's everywhere, huh?
Yeah.
I just watched that Bishop Sycamore documentary finally. Adam McKay, executive producer. He's everywhere.
He makes a lot of good things. Hopefully we'll be making some of them
say money.
Together soon. That too. But this from JPA Football, Stugotz, about your beloved Jets. And I'm really enjoying that we're covering this way because the difference in that league between 1-1 and 0-2 after 2 unreasonable weeks of men killing each other for money and violence. This was trending. Jets running back Breece Hall seems to be upset over his usage in today's game. He tweeted 4 football emojis, which represents the number of carries that he got in today's game. First, Sauce deactivated Twitter, and now Breece complaining about touches on social media. This Jets team may be spiraling out of control just a bit.
Such a feel-good story 5 days ago.
This is the most diluted spiraling out of control has ever been. This is not spiraling out of control. This is Aaron Rodgers now has a miracle surgeon who's going to get him back by January, and all they've got.
There's no need, by the way. Take your time, Aaron. We won't be playing in January.
They are spiraling a bit 2 games in because they looked horrific. It's weird to see a football team look incompetent on a Sunday where you know they're not going to score. They can't move the ball down the field. They're not going to be. Micah Parsons is going to do whatever he wants, and
he's great.
And Zach Wilson is a child comparatively. A child. We've put a child in charge of the big equipment.
We have. It's interesting because the Jets have to make a decision. Either trust him and let him play quarterback and try to throw the football, or find somebody else.
The Falcons
that's a
are gonna
decision
do it
they have to
The
make.
Falcons are going to do it the same way. Try to hide your quarterback all season.
Right. But they're 2-0. Hiding their quarterback.
That's right.
Ritter had a game yesterday. Yeah. He had a game yesterday, Dan.
What does that mean?
He made some plays. He contributed to a victory. Made some plays.
Okay.
Zach Wilson had the pass to Garrett Wilson. They had the 7 points. Sauce Gardner, who did deactivate his Twitter account, also deactivated his hands, had an interception at the end of that half that would have made it 14-10 Jets, and then it's anyone's game.
But Stugotz, this is a special kind of suffering, okay, for a football fan. It's not just you lose Aaron Rodgers. That's one thing. When the betting over-under on your team total is 14.5, your Sunday sucks. You've got the Bears. You've got one of these teams that everyone else is enjoying football, and you're not allowed to because you're a Cardinals fan.
They looked good for a half. The Cardinals.
They've looked good. They've looked
great.
good for about 4.5, 5 quarters. They've won 5 quarters this season.
Do you think they're doing that to prove to Caleb Williams' dad that, hey, we're not that bad? We're still losing for you, but we're not that bad.
No, it is a master class in tanking. It is. Like, we're good enough to compete. We're good enough to have 20-0 leads over one of the teams that was one of the final 8 teams last year in the NFL. We're good enough to do that, but just not good enough to win. It's so well done by them.
But didn't you say the same thing last year about the Bears, that was the master class in tanking? You know you have your quarterback, and you know you're going to get a good pick, and now do they have their quarterback?
They need a coach.
Billy, you have done a great job, better than anybody, at holding Stugotz's feet to the fire.
Remembers everything,
Has
this guy.
learned, well, but you don't remember anything you've said, and your words don't mean anything because you say a bunch of
Thank you.
a million contradictory things. So Billy occasionally does remind you for some reason. I don't know why he keeps doing
Well, I was
this.
just curious because everyone is talking about Justin Fields today, and Stugotz spent better half of last season telling us how great it was that they were doing this. With
I
him.
had a fan write me this weekend saying that Stugotz last week on either God Bless Football or Stupidity was trying to refer in an interview with somebody to a mentalist and called him instead a contortionist.
Yeah, he did that. He did that on God Bless Football.
What did I
right
do?
away. Yeah, you called the
We were talking
mentalist.
climate change last week.
That was on. Yeah, that was Dan. You will have loved last week's Stupidity. We're talking about the garbage crisis in the world. How Stugotz decided he wanted to.
We had
do
a
that,
guest
I'll
on.
never know,
Yeah. Billy was shocked. I've never been more prepared for an interview than I was for that. It's odd.
Why did you call a mentalist a contortionist?
I have no idea.
Do you know what a contortionist is?
I have no idea what a mentalist is.
Are you just fried at this point in your career? You're talking in too many places and you don't know what you're saying, so you're certainly not keeping track of it. And Billy is here to remind you of the things you've alleged as football takes before. But Billy, no one has devalued the football take more than Stugotz, correct? Because whatever he thought last year, whatever. It's week to week. It's say whatever you want. It's nobody remembers anything. And the people you think are experts, Colin Cowherd talks to Vegas and has all sorts of insiders. He was 0-8 going into the Dolphins game last night against the spread. So we are one game behind Cowherd on our celebrity prognosticator segment that we haven't done for 2 weeks.
Well, week one's tough, right? Like last week I was 0-3 and Billy's Bets Big Board's brought to you by. So anything can happen, you know what I mean?
I want to hear more about this big board. Tell me more.
Billy's
was
Bets
so-
Big Board
yeah.
brought to you by,
Right,
and
waiting.
then the sponsor will go there once
We're
we
waiting.
get the sponsor.
Right.
Yeah,
It will
we're
be
waiting for
sponsored
the
next
sponsor.
week.
Exactly right.
Or if
Hopefully
you win a
so.
few games.
Yeah.
But so far you're
Game
doing
time,
you're
we're out
you were 0-3. You started 0-3 with your big
Well,
board of football analysis
people
as
who-
the 4th ranked international Duke of all time.
People that faded him are 3-0.
But the problem is that it was reliant on, it's a Monday Night Football thing, Dan, as you know, as you were listening. It's a Monday night staple. So we have to, because there's just usually one game, even though tonight there's 2, which is a treat. There's usually just, one game. So I'm not just doing lines. You have to go to props there. And what happens is that a lot of
Is
those
Saints
were.
Panthers a treat? Put it on the poll, please, Juju, because I don't think they gave us a treat. I don't.
Do you think that's why they have 2 games on at the same time? So they're like, just choose whichever one you want.
I was actually because I'm
I
listening.
like the second game, though. I mean,
I'm listening to Marlins baseball on the radio.
Ooh, Kyle
when I'm-
Seeloff.
when
Are you
I'm-
really?
Yeah, when I'm driving around, I love their radio team. It's excellent.
They're great.
And and it was in the car when I got up this morning, still local radio. And
Joe Rose?
Whoever's on 940.
Oh, the big dog
but
after a victory.
Whoever was on
560, sorry.
Whoever was on 940, it wasn't Dolphin Talk. It was two guys who were going through the motions on sports radio. And so they were trying to muster enthusiasm for whatever they were saying, double-barreled Monday night action. And the one guy says, Saints Panthers. And the other guy gives you everything he's got on that. And he's like,
Was it Defo?
Saints and Panthers.
Is Defo still on 940?
I don't know who it was. They just repeated the teams that were playing tonight.
Oh, it's 2 pros and a cup of Joe, it looks like. That's a good name for it.
7 in front of the hour.
They were not trying. They were prodding at the last embers of sports radio. They were trying to muster enthusiasm for double-barreled Monday Night Football. And when the guy threw it to the other guy on give me what you got on Saints Panthers, what he said is Saints Panthers.
That's what he had.
How dare you, Dan? That is Brady Quinn, LeVar Arrington, and Jonas Knox.
Okay.
Oh, the great Jonas Knox.
Whoever it was very early in the morning for all of them.
That's their Monday morning after the weekend. Like that is
They were
them
really
at the. Like,
tired.
that is where they should be, though. Like
Okay,
if you
but
think
no, that's
like
the
Monday
proper
mornings,
amount of enthusiasm.
No, Monday morning you just blurt out the game tonight.
That is the way that should be analyzed. That game just repeated and 15 million people will watch. Double-barreled Monday night. They cleared out the stage for Aaron Rodgers to run out with that American flag.
I was thinking that on Sunday when I saw Tony Romo and Jim Nance for this Cowboys-Jets game. I'm like, man, they thought this game was going to be
Chris,
awesome.
I think the Jets have
like before the season, they're like this week too.
There are networks trying to flex out the Jets.
Chris, I think they've got 5 or 6 primetime games, so you can watch that against Dallas
They
yesterday.
got one against the Chiefs.
So you can watch it spiral out of control. Can you spiral out of control a bit? Because that's what was alleged in the tweet, and I think you're either spiraling out of control or you're not. You're not doing it a bit. I don't think 4 helmet emojis is spiraling out of control or a deactivated X account.
It's just frustration.
Well, explain this to me. Please explain to me, because I guess it's going to be a thing the entirety of my life. On an emotional sideline where guys are trying to kill themselves over money in the Thursday night game, when we talk about Brandon Staley and Dan Campbell melting under the pressure of 2 weeks. In an emotional game, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown argue on the sidelines because A.J. Brown wants the goddamn football because he's a bowling ball.
Because he's A.J. Brown.
And he's great.
Right.
And he
Pretty
wants,
sure they were winning, though, at that point.
but
It's a bad look.
he wants 15 throws a game. No, I understand it's a bad look. But what I'm asking you is, you understand what these emotional men are doing for a living, how dangerous it is, how proud they are about wanting the football, wanting to win, but not just win for everybody else, win for themselves, for their own bank accounts and everything else. Are we ever going to get tired of over-covering the sideline blow-up because wide receiver X wants 8 more targets, or running back X, who's trying to feed his family, wants 6 more carries, and 2 guys might argue on the sidelines because people argue at work in workplaces that aren't as emotional as that one? Like, when are we going to stop overreacting to people on a sideline arguing with each other, when to me it's like the most normal thing in the world that everything would be hopped up to this frenetic, crazed place where human beings are going through nutrition, science, body repair that is obsessive compulsive about sculpting so they can win an 8.5-yard route because he's running it a little faster than your cornerback who's trying to get there. Like, what's the surprise that these guys would yell at each other?
Shouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's a guy who he doesn't want to just win, and that's the fascinating part about it, because they were winning. And so you're like, what are you complaining about? You're winning the football game. Leave it alone. But no, he wants to be part of the reason as to why they're winning. He wants the ball every week.
I'm going to go the rest of my life without having that overcovered, correct? Like, that we're always going to overreact when guys give us soap opera on the sideline.
Yep.
We should do that around here, where like we should stay on after a segment, and like one of us should like be like just
Yeah,
we'll have the sound off.
I agree.
But like Jess and I will be like really heated with each other after a segment, and then everyone will be like, "Oh man, look,
We
there's
should
something
fake
going
a
on
fight
there."
on the Dan Le Batard Show and see what happens.
Right.
And then we'll act like it's unreleased. Like, how'd that get out there? But we'll put it out. And everyone
But
will
after
be,
good segments, too, right?
Yeah, just-
right. Like you wanted the ball, you didn't talk enough.
right. She wanted more words that segment.
Yeah.
Are you ready to do that right now?
Longer F 1 minute. I wanted 2 whole minutes.
Right now, you guys are going to try and recreate it. These things have to be organic. There are no shortage of those around here, too. We have a few where people will look. Billy's one is to talk out of the side of his mouth and give you the side eye.
What?
They're acting.
It is time for Stugotz to share his game notes. No one in the media will tell you what happened better than my boy Stu.
Weekend observations brought to you by Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories, available for delivery. Dan, they were one of the final 8 teams a year ago. They got off to an embarrassing start last week, and this week they were staring 0-2 right in the face. After trailing 20-0 at the half. You were saying?
Right in the face.
Right in the face. One can only imagine what their head coach said to them at halftime, but whatever it was, Dan,
Yes.
it worked.
Yes.
Because they came out and outscored their opponent 31-7 to save their season and get the record to 1-1. And Dan, just like that, make no mistake about it, the New York Football Giants are back.
It didn't work right away, though, the halftime speech. It took 9 minutes or 12 minutes. They were still down 21 with 3 minutes
Right.
left in the third quarter.
But he got the job done. Whatever Dable said, he got the job done.
That's
right?
amazing. Yes, because those players couldn't do it themselves. They need a real leader to lead them.
The G-Men. Dabes. I hope Ed Orgeron coaches the Bengals. Coach O. That'd be great.
Why?
Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I mean, coach has to be on the hot seat. They're 0-2.
Didn't you hear Lucy's report from the LSU game? Coach O did some really bad things and will never coach again, according to a drunk woman who grabbed Taylor's ass.
I trust her with my life.
NFL, though? Never coach again? Period? All right. Well, I hope he doesn't coach Cincinnati, then.
Who's the coach of Cincinnati?
Zach Taylor.
Wow, yes, he flexed that God bless football muscle. I know the name of a coach.
Maybelle Blair has a chooch. Somehow, I had a more productive fantasy day than Dalvin Cook. The Arizona Cardinals gave a clinic on how to tank. Well done. You heard it here first, Dan. Deion Sanders is going to be the next head coach of the LA Chargers. How about that? LA, Deion, little flash, huh? What do you think? Herbert? Eckler?
I can hear people so mad that we talk so much Deion today. I can hear them.
Yeah. I'm guessing Sam Hartman hunts for his own Thanksgiving turkey.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Does Hartzman hunt for his
Hartman,
own?
yeah.
Sorry.
Put an S in there.
I do that with age. Does Hartman hunt his own Thanksgiving turkey?
I love a good golf towel.
Wipe the club down, wipe your ball off, get the grass off.
Good golf towel, underrated golf necessity. Top 5 underrated golf necessities. Number 5, lip balm. You need it. Lucy is shaking her head. Jess looks confused. I'm telling you, you need lip balm.
You need it always.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider that a golf necessity, just like a necessity. but-
Okay.
Put
Life
it on
necessity.
the poll. Is
Right.
lip balm a life necessity at LeBatard Show?
Or a golf necessity. Number 4, gummies and a full pack of heaters. Thank you. Number 3, an extra pencil or 2. Chris, you like that one, huh? Number 2, a good golf towel.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Do you love a good golf towel?
And number 1, especially down here, a fan for the golf cart. I was in a golf cart that had air conditioning the other day. It was life-changing. AC.
That can't be true.
Serious. Meisner up in Delray. I'll take you up there. It's a different world. Here come the Rockies.
Is it an enclosed golf cart? Or is it just air conditioning in the open air?
Or does it
that's-
just have a fan?
It's not enclosed. No, it's got air conditioning. And I'm not saying what it blows out is cold, but I'm saying something is coming out of there, and it's a breeze.
It's coughing warm air. It's belching warm air.
Yeah.
Sounds bad.
If I walked into my house one day and TJ Hawkinson was roaming around, I would my pants.
Put it on the poll, Juju. If T.J. Hawkinson was walking around your house, would you shit your pants?
That's not where I thought that was going.
Well, Bill is confused because I keep painting this scenario for him that T.J. Hawkinson.
He's just hairy.
He gets home and he's in your house.
He's just hairy. That's all. He's got a lot of hair. He's big.
Yeah. Hey, Philadelphia Eagles. Thanks for leaving the back door open. Going back to Thursday. You love You had it? You know what the C in Kirk Cousins stands for?
Covered.
It stands for come in the back door. What? Florida State. Survive and advance. The Noles. 14-3 South Carolina in the first half.
What happened there?
21-0 Georgia in the second half. You, of course, know what that means, right, Dano?
Tale of two halves.
Wow. I'm so proud of you. You got it. Man, this late in the day, too. Memphis. That's how you handle a game with the Naval Academy. Gently, with appreciation and kindness in your hearts.
Yeah, it was nice.
Unlike the entitled and ungrateful kids at Notre Dame.
That's right. Thank you for your service. Memphis, good work by you.
I'm telling you, keep an eye on Air Force. The Falcons. They're good. Alabama, the Iowa, is strong in you. JT Daniels, 30 of 34 for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns. Another 64 yards and 2 touchdowns on 15 carries. Dan, you know what JT Daniels did? He did it all. The D in Daniels stands for did it all. This has to be Garrett Strider's 8th season at Syracuse.
Again, Colorado State has a 31-year-old kicker with 3 kids.
Yeah, but Strider looks like he's 41.
Schrader.
Whatever. Is it Schrader? Schrader, Strider, Tomato. He's been there for at least 8 years. Matt Olson, quietest 52 home run season in Major League Baseball history.
Not that quiet.
No one knows.
I mean, you're not following baseball.
I am. I knew he had 52 homers and his name and what team he plays for.
I've watched a bunch of Braves games, and Matt Olson could walk in here right now, and I wouldn't have any
They're
idea.
so good.
Never heard
And
of
he's
him.
so much bigger than you think he is.
Do it in October.
You swept him.
Big
You
sweep,
swept
big
him.
sweep.
You got
swept
fat on the
them.
Braves.
You were 19. You were 4-19 against the Braves the last 2 years, and you swept them, and Jazz hit one 550 feet.
Dan, back-to-back days with grand slams, and I think the Marlins are going to make the playoffs. They got through the rough part of their remaining schedule. They
swept
have the
the
Pirates and
Braves.
the Mets coming up. Oh, I don't need this stress.
Dan, you know what the F in Formula One stands for?
I do not.
It stands for finally we have a new winner.
Our long national nightmare is over.
Tariq Cohen signed with the Carolina Panthers practice squad. Tariq,
Tough.
that's how you bring in the Jewish New Year. Shana Tova. I'm excited for Tariq.
Yes.
I'm blaming the media for me already being tired of Deion in Colorado. Dan, we are 5 days away from the greatest slate in college football history. I love a good slate. Have you checked out this slate?
Does it have Colorado?
Oh, my God.
Does it have Colorado on it?
Does it have Colorado? Colorado at Oregon. And that's like the 5th worst game.
So you're tired of it, but your next observation is great slate this weekend.
5th best game?
5th best game is what I'm tired late in the day. Lucy, what a slate.
What a slate.
The greatest slate of all time, right?
Maybe not the greatest of all time, but it's up there.
Although if that was the 5th worst game, that would be a really good slate.
Yeah. Just so I'm clear, when Colorado ekes out a victory at home over a team they were favored by 23 points to beat, we're going to say they are resilient? It's convenient. Report, Tom Brady's Raiders purchase, not finalized.
Jets need a quarterback.
Oh, it's happening.
Going to be finalized anytime between October and December, or whenever Tom decides he wants to own a team.
Yeah, or wants to play. Latavius Murray, still chugging along. Had a tutty yesterday. Takeo Spikes didn't see it.
He didn't answer my text.
He didn't. Wrong number. Thank God.
Keep trying it.
Hey, Jacksonville Jaguars, do it against the Chiefs. I don't like all the non-traditional jersey numbers. Tight ends, do me a favor. Put on 80-something. Thanks. Sevens running around as tight ends. Give me a break. Anthony Richardson, you can't say you weren't warned. Terrible pick by Jared Goff. One might say he was picked golf. So bad. I was high when I wrote that. It's always 2nd and 18 for the Bears.
Put it on the poll.
Right.
At LeBatard Show. Is it always 2nd and 18 for the Bears?
They want Justin Fields to bail him out with a 20-yard run.
And then it's 3rd and 15.
Yeah.
And then they're punting.
Chris Jones, difference maker. Oddly, Alabama is not in the top 10, but firmly entrenched in the college football playoff. Justin Fields, nope. The Tennessee Titans did what the Tennessee Titans do. Brandon Staley, be careful when you sit down today. The seat might be scorching.
Yes.
Desmond Ridder and Baker Mayfield are a combined 4-0. Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are a combined 0-4. Football. Micah Parsons, menace.
Yeah.
Last week, we had questions. And this weekend, Josh Allen had the answers.
Yes.
Apologize.
What? Every week you want me to apologize for Josh Allen? Every week
we
for being
questioned him.
wrong.
Yeah.
When I say he's terrible, I'm wrong. When I say he's good, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm always wrong.
Yeah. Graham Gano, more like Graham Gayes. Arizona Cardinals, great loss. The O in Odell stands for often injured. The S in Sam Howell stands for Stones. Headline, Bartolo Colon, 50, honored by Mets, says he's retiring. He hasn't thrown a pitch in the last 5 years, and no one's asked him to. So he's just making it official, right?
And he's never retired. He'll give you 3 good innings whenever you want him.
By the way, Bartolo Colon would sign with the team today if they offered him a contract.
That's correct.
Thank you. Chris Whittingham, I know you mean well, and I love you, but your charts and graphs you send me every damn Sunday
Love it.
go to hell. And when you get there, say hi to Art Briles for me. Dan, those are the weekend observations. Tired.